without wasting much time, I want to call on worship to say a word or two.
Okay. The President of the Archdiocese and Laity Council, other members of the council here present, I greet you in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
I wish to thank you sincerely for making out time out of your very busy schedule in order to pay me this visit. And I must tell you from the bottom of my heart that I'm truly appreciative, because what a visit of this nature does is it reassures you and it reminds you of the fact that behind you is a team of well-wishers, is a team of churchmen and women who will pray for your success. And it is equally important because the last couple of days have not been very easy. Though it gets easier by the day, but the beginning was very tough. What actually ended up on the 31st day of March had started a long time ago. So long before the announcement, I had known, because I was called to Abuja and I had to go through the process. I had an encounter with the nuncio, who told me the intention of the Holy Father, and then he sought for my consent, because you need to say yes before the announcement will follow. And anybody who is familiar with the process, it's a process that does not leave you with much options. In principle, you can say no, but imagine saying no to the Pope. Besides, on the day of your ordination as a priest, you pledged your complete loyalty to your bishop and to all his successors. Now you have the Bishop of Bishops asking you to do something. Saying no is normally not an option, though I know in principle you could. But after I had consented, then I had to live with that all by myself for well over 2 weeks. So I had to pretend to be going through my normal schedule, and I had to pretend as if life was okay and nothing was changing. I had to pretend as if nothing was happening to me. And then that was a very difficult moment for me. Whenever I was in church at that time and I look at the parishioners in my mind, I would say it's a matter of time. This will no longer be my parish again. And sometimes we sit with my friends when we begin to talk and we plan about what will happen next year, next month, and then next 2 years. Sometimes I unconsciously become quiet, because I know that as far as our relationship in the group of friends is concerned, plan for next year, as far as Joss is concerned, does not involve me again. So I had to live with that for all of that period. And that period was one which most times I couldn't sleep at night. Most times I couldn't sleep at night. And whenever you can't sleep, of course, you have to think about a lot of things. And some of the things I thought about was how suitable I was for such an exalted position. I'm sure older people than me and people of my generation, growing up, it was later Bishop Ganaka who was bishop. And we now derived our knowledge of who a bishop is from everything that he epitomizes or he epitomized. And then it was from him that we got an image of who a bishop was. And in our minds, we thought he was superhuman. We thought he wasn't born the normal way. He came from another planet because he had just very sterling qualities and he was a very gifted man. So we thought all bishops had to be very gifted and by some sense come from another planet. But here I was confronted with the reality of occupying the same position occupied by such great people in the past. So all of those thoughts really troubled me. But after some time, I was able to manage a few hours of sleep at night. Then when it was the day of the announcement, we met at Giring for the Chrism Mass, and the Archbishop made a joke, which only he and I knew. Because after it had taken place, then the nuncio called Archbishop Kaigama, who is the Metropolitan of Abuja, and then Lafia is under Abuja Metropolitan See. So I will have to leave just province now. I belong to Abuja. So he informed him, and of course he told Archbishop Audu. So on the day of the Cathedraticum of Zaramaganda, he meant it when he said that because I am dean of 2 monsignors, so he is elevating me to the position of a monsignor. He laughed and I had laughed because he knew and I knew what he was talking about. But at the end of the day, he told them that the title was going to end after the Mass and no one had the right to use it. Some of the priests talked about it. But after the announcement, then it registered to them that he was making a point, but which most of them could not understand at that time. So on the day of the announcement, the priests were called together, and then a few of the laity. So that was a lot of confusion. What is going to happen? Me, I knew because that was the arrangement. And some of the priests would say when they saw the cameraman again, they say, is this sharing money that they need to capture on camera again? Because the idea was that they were going to share the gifts that were given by the Archbishop. So that night I couldn't sleep, But the first ray of hope, the first signs I saw were the reactions, especially from the priests and the people. One, I could see that most of my colleagues were genuinely happy about the appointment. And I think in their minds, somehow they trust me enough to be able to carry out the office or the demands of the office. And the second one is from the general, the way it was received by the general public. I think there was great excitement, there was great joy, and then most of the posts and the text messages I received was to the effect that it was well deserved. Everybody said well deserved. Well, that consoled me. But after consoling me, it again placed another responsibility on me. Because I say for any expression well deserved, there are certain expectations. So I say there are a lot of people who are not even looking at the possibility of failure. Because this man, he has to do it. They believe he can do it. And we are all human. And except you try, you never know. But again, apart from encouraging me, that placed some burden of expectation on me. But that made me a little bit relieved. And then next on the line was my family, my immediate family. So they came with all the elders and they came to express their joy at what had happened and then to again reassure me of their support. They didn't end there. Members of St. Francis, Zere Catholic community came again. The same idea of reassurance. And the greatest of the reassurance for me came from the people of Lafia. So the people of Lafia raised their religious, their representatives, led by the Archbishop, who is my predecessor. They all came here, and then we had a nice moment with them. And then in their speech, they talked about total loyalty and reassuring me that I should have no fears at all. They will be willing to work with me, and they will be there to support me, and they will ensure that I succeed. So all of those helped a great deal. And here I am now, having to receive all of you, members of the lay faithful of the Catholic Archdiocese of Jos. So this is just like an icing on the cake. Now with your coming now, I know that the whole lay people of the Archdiocese of Jos will be praying for my success. And as the President said, I cannot afford to fail. I cannot afford to fail. And for anybody who has known me, the problem is for me to accept to do something. But if I accept to do it, then I give 110%. I give my very best. Where my best ends up not being good enough, then that's a different thing. But saying I do not make enough effort is something I just have not yet been associated with. And I'm not sure that going to Lafia will be the first time I'll be associated with not giving my very best. So I assure you that as your ambassador, I will go there and I will try my very best to represent you very well. I know it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. as a leader, decisions have to be made. Most times they are very easy decisions, and when the easy ones are made, everybody's happy. But some difficult decisions too must be made. And I made it very clear to the people of Lafia that nothing supersedes the interest of the church. Even I, as the bishop, will not allow my personal interests to stand in the way of the interest of the church. So what that means is that where a decision has to be taken, which is seen to be a threat to the interest of the church, I will not even think twice to take such a decision, and then I will damn the consequences. Because in the first place, the major task before me is that of evangelization. It's the kingdom work to ensure that we carry out the same things which were done by Jesus many years ago, the reign of the kingdom here on earth. And whatever will hamper the reign of that kingdom must be crushed. So I said that to them, and I know I come across as a very gentle person and very unassuming, but like Abba is laughing here. When it comes to decision, I'm firm.
Yes.
Yeah, I could be smiling, but I have made up my mind on what I believe to be right. You don't have to fight over decisions. You could do that with a smile. The most important thing is that the right thing gets done at the end of the day. And then even when people are hurt, find a way of calling them to beg them to understand that you did it for the interest of the church. And I think I will try to do that. The good thing is I understand it's a very young Presbyterian we have there. I think priests who are older than me in the diocese should be about 4 or maybe 5 at most. All the others are younger, which is a plus for me. So I don't have to be dealing with older people, which sometimes places so much stress on you.
Yes.
So we buried Nagba. I was at his funeral. So, but like I said, so sometimes dealing with very elderly people comes with a lot of emotions. But if it is the younger ones, thank God I have been in formation right from when I became operations director in 1997. And after that, I became a teacher in the seminary. And after I finished full time, I'm still part time now. So I know so much about the whole process. And thank God, some of the priests there I taught in the seminary. And interestingly, some of them I facilitated their admission in Barrakin Laity when I was parish priest at St. Murumba's, Nasarawa, where I stayed for 3 years. They reminded me of how, after helping them secure admission, I carried them in my car from Nasarawa and I brought them to Barrakin Laity the first time they were resuming school. I forgot all of those, but they reminded me. So some of them are priests there. I'm sure that such priests will not forget how we nurtured them. They were my altar servers, and so we have come a long way. And then with the knowledge of the place, I'm not going there as a total stranger, except that I'm going there with absolute knowledge. This is not knowledge at all, right? Yeah, but it's obsolete. 23 years ago, that one has been overtaken by events. So I'm going there now really as someone who needs to learn. And I told them I'm a very good learner. I'm a fast one too. So I'll observe, I will learn. And when I learn, I get to understand, then I will fully take charge. So that's why I thank you all for coming. I know that there are other places you would have been at. There are other things you would have been doing. There are people you should be seeing now. But all of those you kept aside, all because you think it is important to see me. And I truly cherish all the sacrifices you have made. Lafia occupies a strategic place, so it's a transit road. Let it not be only when your car that I will see you. And when you appear as if you have come to see me, then later you say, the car. Let it also be that as you plan your journey, if it is towards there, remember that Poajang is there. And you know, Jos has defined me. Jos has been my life. I mean, all of you have been part of my own story. And it will be very exciting to get to sit, even if it's just a glass of water, or to have lunch together, or to gist. And then if you need a place to spend the night, of course you'll always be welcome. The bishop's house is big enough. So, and then it might even be too big for me from the start. So getting people to stay behind will be very exciting. So once more, I thank you for this visit. And I promise you I will do my very best not to let you down. Thank you.
Your Lordship, these words are really reassuring, because truly it's one thing to come and congratulate, felicitate. It's another for you to pray for, and it's another for the person who is prayed for to give you that reassurance that he's ready for the job. So once again, I want to appreciate this moment.